Look, I think the Chicago Bears just found a brand new way to terrify the rest of the NFL. And we've seen this team evolve during the season, right? A team that's kind of figuring out. Then we start winning games in the meantime. And now we're in a spot that we can absolutely enjoy the number one seed in the NFL. Yet another gift from the Carolina Panthers. At this point, I think we should all have Panthers jerseys. We're now a 9-3 Bears team. And we've already surpassed the preseason Vegas win total of 8.5. 5 more games to play. What I'm saying is we are playing on absolute house money moving forward. The sky's the limit, and I actually think that we can hold this seed because guess what? It's getting cold. And instead of playing the finesse game, the Bears, they just imposed their will on the Philadelphia Eagles, and they are absolute bullies doing it. And the main thing I want to talk about in this video is their newfound ability to be completely versatile from game to game and also within the game, and they can shift to whatever's needed on a dime. So the result of this shifting, Vic Fangio, he's absolutely the man, right? He spent time in Chicago. We know this. His defensive mind is absolutely unrivaled. The Bears, they just ran for 281 yards on Friday. That's the most a Fangio defense has given up since week 7 of 2005. Now, math majors, that's 248 games. Vic Fangio has had a defense on the field getting gashed like that. And this is what Ben Johnson is ready to do. The league should be nervous about what Ben Johnson is doing. And Mike Sando from The Athletic, he really broke this down really well. So I'm just going to go from that. Ben, he threw the ball in the first quarter and then he said, "Am I nuts throwing into the wind with Caleb Williams when I can just run the ball 2 backs?" He adjusted, and that was the impressive part. Vic, he wants to sit in the 2-high shell and roll guys down late. Ben, what'd he do? He ran in the A-gaps a lot, so it was quick hitting, and then the safeties, they couldn't help on the inside fits. So what did Ben do here? He started with a more conventional approach. He wanted to move the ball down the field through the air, but after the first quarter, after this proving time of what was working, he absolutely shifted his strategy on a dime, and the Bears team reacted with 281 yards on the ground. I'm telling you, this team is completely bought in, completely under the spell of Ben Johnson, that he can cast whatever he wants. He can turn his strategy on a dime within the game, and the team is responding. Like I said, the NFL should be terrified of the number one seed in the NFC right now. Now, I really like the value of a switch. It's like the value of a switch hitter in baseball, right? See what the defense is dealing, switch to the other side of the plate, and that's exactly what Ben Johnson did. And the way that this team identity is completely changed from last year, it's absolutely unrecognizable because if you think of last year, remember where we're at. The Bears ranked outside the top 20 in rushing yards, explosive rushing rate, rushing success rate, almost every measurable category. They are outside the top 20. So now we look at it now. The Bears are now in the top 5 across the board. The rushing success rate, that's the highest it's been in 25 years. This is per True Media. This is an interesting stat as well. Rushing success rate. Let's look at what it is. It's the percentage of rushes that increase their chances for scoring. It's determined by EPA. So that's a really significant stat there. Also, the Bears are 3rd in the league in time of possession. They've held the ball for almost 54% of the games that they've played. I mean, and also more than anything, he's gotten his players to buy in, right? The mental errors that seemed to plague the Bears earlier in the season, it's gone down dramatically. We're looking at players up and down the roster contributing. You've got DeMarco Jackson showing up when he was needed. Ozzie Trapillo holding down the left tackle spot. And then you've got surprises like Nashawn Wright. Even Britton Brown has played meaningful snaps here. This roster absolutely believes in Ben Johnson, and the results are showing. And something else, right? The rushing attack. Let's spend a little more time on that. That is the main area that Ben Johnson can just turn to, and it's there. As it currently stands, the Bears are 2nd in the NFL behind the Bills with 153.8 rushing yards per game. Now, that's even more impressive than that initial number because if you look at it, this is averaged out due to the Bears averaging about 100 yards per game on the ground through their first 4 games. I think it's 100. Yes, it's 102. So since then, the Bears have averaged, since the bye week, the Bears have averaged 179.6 yards rushing per game. Now, that's because of the revamped offensive line. I want to give so much credit to the revamped offensive line, but also Drew Dahlman, Darnell Wright, they had to learn Ben Johnson's blocking scheme as well. And also, 281 yards. I can't say that too many times. And not only did Chicago run for almost 300 yards against the Eagles defense, but they nearly doubled the time of possession against the reigning Super Bowl champions. Swift called it a team win. He praised every level of the Bears. This is exactly what DeAndre Swift had to say. Team win in all 3 phases. We did what we needed to do. It's an amazing feeling. It's a full circle moment. Coming back home, seeing family, playing at the highest level, nothing but God to thank. This weapon reunited together since their time in Detroit, and now we're looking at the defense having 2 takeaways. The Bears' rushing attack, Swift played a huge part. Special teams balling out. Chicago got their signature win in all 3 phases of the game, and it was one of those games where I was saying to my friend during the game, this is going to be all about which team makes the big mistake first and which team makes the big mistake last. That's going to decide this game. Really close game. The Bears didn't make that huge mistake. Really, the only blip on the radar was that little jump pass that Caleb threw that got intercepted. I'll kind of live with that. Everything else, all Chicago Bears. So I kind of want to look at why I think we're going to hold on to that number 1 seed, and it goes by looking at this schedule. I'm going to call this up here. It's going to get cold out, right? Most of the Bears' remaining games are going to be out in the elements. Let's look at the schedule here. We've got Green Bay at Lambeau Field. Yes, please, love it. Cannot wait for this weekend. Then we're going to host Cleveland. Then Green Bay comes to town again. Guys, these might all be snow games. And then a little break in sunny Cali against the 49ers. I'll take that. That's probably going to be the toughest game out of the schedule. And then we get to finish in what will likely just be nasty weather. I believe it's January 2nd at our house against the Lions, where we can put this narrative to rest. And you might ask, what's that narrative? I think that is obvious, but if you listen to any Lions fan earlier in the season, look, Ben Johnson, he was just running Campbell's offense, right? Losing him is zero problem. We'll plug in Morton. Who cares? He hasn't called plays before. It's the Dan Campbell offense. We just have to have a placeholder. It's not working out so well. Campbell's doing it himself. The results haven't been amazing. The team is reeling. Guys, I think you can consider the Lions completely cooked. They're on the outside looking in. They missed their Super Bowl window. I don't think it's coming back. So let's just leave it to the adults now. Let's have the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears fight it out for this division. And maybe the biggest takeaway from all this is that it's looked for a long time like things have just happened to us as a franchise, right? The Fail Mary, the double doink, the blocked field goal in Green Bay. But now where are we at? We blocked the field goal against Vegas, game-winning drive after game-winning drive, and we just imposed our will on the Super Bowl champions against a top-tier defense. Guys, the Bears are now the team that makes their own luck. The Bears are now the team that creates their own breaks. We should be proud of this record. We should be optimistic about our chances in the playoffs. And you guys, I think the sky's the limit for this team. Let's slow down a little bit. Let's beat the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau. And here's the thing as well. I talked about house money as well. We can say, hey, our sky's the limit on our team, but we came into this season being like the most important thing in this season is the development of Caleb Williams. That's happening. Our offensive line has gelled. That has happened. Our running game is strong. That has happened. You guys, everything else is gravy. But I want to go deep in the playoffs now. But we're not going to freak out and say everything was a failure if this doesn't happen, because we have reached our goals for this season. All right, man. You guys are awesome. Bear down. I'll continue to be here on the daily leading up to this game in Lambeau. And yeah, we'll talk soon. See ya.